so we're in standard tuning. Finger picking, I'm using thumb, index, and middle, which I think is probably how it's played. And it's in 3/4 time. So just to start by talking a little bit about the basic finger picking thing. So usually your thumb is going to be playing basically all the beats on whatever is the lowest string in that chord, right? So let's say it's a chord that uses the D, the G, and the B. Your thumb is just going to be playing all the beats on the D, and then index and middle playing the, like in this case, the G and the B, and in this kind of rhythm, like. So together you end up with this. So it's like all three fingers, thumb, index and middle, thumb, like. Make sense? All three fingers together, thumb, index and middle, thumb, da, do, da, do, da, do, da, do. That's a good general thing. Okay, so let's talk about the versed chords. So the first chord is this. So first finger barring the 2nd fret on the G and the B, 3rd finger playing the 4th fret on the D. You could also play it like this. First finger on the 6th fret of the G, 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the D, and pinky on the 9th fret of the A. And I questioned whether it was this. I couldn't find any live versions, so it could be that that's how the whole thing is played, but I'm showing you how to do it down here, which is probably a little easier, but I'll show you these other chords as I go along. So you're gonna do one bar of this, right? Then it becomes just a bar of the 2nd fret on the D and the G, G, and B. And then into this is like a D chord. So now open D, first finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And then there's going to be the first time that something changes in this hand, because now we're going to this A chord. So my first finger is barring the 2nd fret on the D, the G, and the B. But now my thumb is going to play the open A. Still index and middle on the G and the B. So this chord, now turn into just a first finger bar, same thing. Now this like D chord, and then this A chord is gonna be the same thing here, but now my thumb is playing the A string, okay? You could, what I was gonna say is that, so it could be this to this. This is first finger on the 6th fret of the G, 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the A, 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D. This is first finger on the 5th fret of the A, 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D, pinky on the 7th fret of the G, and then open A, 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the G, and 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D. So it's just like an alternate way it could be. Okay, so it does that. And now, so now it does this lower version. I played it like this. You could also, I also messed around with using my thumb. But I'll show it to you like this. So now first finger barring the 2nd fret and 3rd finger playing the 4th fret on the D. And now this hand is going to do thumb on low E, index on D, and middle on G. Right? So this is some lower notes now. Then pick up that bar. Now first finger is barring the 2nd fret on the D and the G, and thumb is playing the open low E. So it's this guy, to this, to this. So now it's just the first finger on the 2nd fret of the G, open A, open D, 2nd fret on the G. And then back to this guy. So back to the first finger barring the 2nd fret. Only now it's thumb playing A and index and middle playing D and G. So I got that. It's like this crazy bar. And now I'm picking, this whole time I'm picking index and middle have moved down to D and G, and thumb is going to start by being on the low E. Now it's an open low E, and the first finger bar is on just the 2nd fret there. Now the first finger is just on the second fret of the D, thumb moves up to the A, thumb stays on the A as I go into this A chord, okay? So that's the basic like verse progression. I'm looking at my little notes, so it's like, it does that, each time that it does the verse, it's 3 full times. I think the third time it just does the low, it sounds like to me. So just does this lower version twice instead of doing this. Okay. But that's the verse. And that happens, yeah, there's a first verse. The intro is one time of this progression. Then there's a first verse, chorus, second verse, which is the same chorus, and it does the verse one more time at the end as the ending. Okay, so let's talk about the chorus. D chord. Same thing now, first finger on the second fret of the G, third finger on the third fret of the B, thumb moves up to the D string, and then to an A chord. A chord, first finger, barring that. You could also do it like that. I messed around a little bit. There's a couple different guitars, so it's hard to tell exactly. I tried to mess around with it a little bit, sort of got a little more playful with it. You can also get like, you can kind of mess around with playing some extra chords because there's other guitars, so you could kind of, if you want to get a little more. But that's the basic thing. It goes between D and A a couple times. Okay, now. So now it's like second finger on the, so it does that, it goes between there, second time, third time. Now, second finger on the second fret of the D, third finger on the second fret of the G. So it's like you play these together, play the open A, and then pick up the second finger and resolve it to the first finger on the first fret of the G. And then, this is a little weird. A bunch of the times I hear it as going then, so like, sometimes it sounds like that to me. This is another one, by the way, it could be up here at the 7th fret. I think it's probably here. And then, that's what I hear. So now I hear it going from this to this. So now there's this third finger on the 4th fret of the A, pinky on the 4th fret of the D, and then, this is a reachy thing to do though. I think it's this. First finger on the 1st fret of the G. Same kind of thing, you play those together, and then middle on the G, thumb on the A, index on the D. And this one is thumb and index, and then B, D, and then G after you move to that. So it goes to this chord most of the time at the end of the chorus. Sometimes it seems like it stays in this E shape. It's a little crazy because of all the guitars. I haven't mentioned it yet, but there will be a full tab available at my Patreon, so you can look at how I tab it out if that makes it more clear. You could also just mess around on that E in the end of the chorus, so you could be like, how it gets in, that's how it gets in. You can just do like that, it's basically like E sus to E. That's basically what the chord is. D to A, D to A, D to A, E sus, E. But sometimes it seems like it goes E to like F sharp minor. Okay, sorry if it leaves more questions than answers, but I like to be straightforward about what I'm certain of and not. So yeah, like I said, there will be a tab available at my Patreon. But I hope that gets you going, and let me know any questions or comments or concerns or suggestions or anything else. And thank you so much for watching.